How's that? Yes. As you're volunteering at a plant, one of the requirements we have, and I would encourage any plant that takes in a volunteer OIT, have them obtain the OIT certificate. Yes, it's money out of their pocket, but it validates every hour of training they're at a plant. So even if they don't get hired within the semester or the 9 months, they have accumulated the training hours towards their certificate. I've had students who have actually been hired within a month after joining the program, and I've had students that have not been hired until 6 months later. But every hour for hour that they have in this training program goes towards their certification. And so it's a basically a benefit to the industry when you hire a new intern, whether it be a Solano RLP who has 500, 1,000 hours, is halfway there, and have passed a grade 1 test. So we're putting together a pool of operators, potential operators, for the industry. So preparing for that so-called shortage that's coming up. In the RLP program, they attend a weekly class for 9 months. And again, they have to acquire at least 540 hours of training hours. That's to complete the course in entirety. In Solano, you could take a ninth class and then sign up for the units, and it's 60 hours per unit, per college unit. So for 2 units, 120 hours, etc. And you'll see that it's of great benefit to be in the plant, learning what operators actually do, learning the jobs, because it prepares them for the next level. That next level is what I stress to the student interns and RLPs, that when you go to an interview, you're going to be sitting in front of 3 professionals, in the field, and they're going to be quizzing you on technical material. And if you recite Ken Curry, Volume 1, Chapter 2, Paragraph 3, they're going to know that. But if you explain to them that I did this job at Delta Diablo, wherever, Union Sand, and I actually, took down a tank and isolated the valves and did this and that, they're going to know that you've actually been in the plant and you have valid hands-on experience. And mostly RPs, student interns, do very well at the interview process. So I tell them, don't look at it as just putting in your time. Use it to gain some valuable experience and knowledge. So let's go back to what I'm doing at my plant with our operators. When I came to the district back in 2007, first thing HR told me was I had to hire 4 new operators because for some reason they had a hiring freeze. 4 new operators out of a total of 15 operators. And oh, by the way, two of your operators are eligible for retirement next year or 2. So that's pretty close to 40% of my staff was going to be new. I said, wow, okay, I've got a job ahead of me. So I did a needs analysis, a needs assessment on training program there at the district, and it was pretty non-existent. I mean, there was some documentation, some things that they had done in the past, some things I worked on when I was with them back in the 90s that was pretty much outdated and obsolete. So first thing I said is we need to standardize our training program, and then we need to get a program that'll take an OIT, a newbie from beginning to at least grade 3 leadership level. So excuse me. And then I said, and then we need to update our documentation access. So I got together with engineering. I said, is there any way we could get a canned product that's for electronic O&M? And what was their response? No money. There's no money in the budget for that. So what I did was I spent some time at another agency and worked on their O&M product and realized, I think we could do this in-house. So I recruited an engineer to assist me, and we put together our own in-house product, customized O&M, electronic O&M. Then I started working on a mandatory training matrix to get together what operators need to know, what certification levels they need to have for each step of the way. and then they get to start looking at other region, start asking at what we call info sharing management meetings. We get together with other managers in the region, talk about what they're doing, and I got some ideas from them as well. So what we did is put together what's a spreadsheet which details the operators and training's requirements from OIT to next level operator 1, from operator 1, operator 2, et cetera, all the way to senior operator level. And it's task by task. It doesn't specifically say this is the task you have to do. I mean, this is the task, and this is spells out what it is. What they have to do is they have to go research our setting operating procedures, which we also updated, as well as the O&M manuals. So we put a little bit of the responsibility on the trainee. As you all know, if you spoon feed them and you hold their hand throughout their career, then that's the kind of operator, that's the kind of employee you're going to have. Every time you ask them to do something, oh, I don't know how to do that, show me how to do that. So we made sure that each operator was tasked to go out and find out for themselves. They could come back and ask us, where's the information? Oh, we'll show you where it's at, and then help you out. And then they have to be signed off by a senior operator, a senior operator who has been a senior operator for probably 15 years in the business or so. That's usually what the level we have in our senior operators. And they have to show them the tasks. They have to make sure that they perform it competent and complete. Senior operator will sign them off, and then they have to go before the operations supervisor, who's tougher than me, and he'll go through them again. And if he decides that they haven't responded completely and competently, he'll make them go do what's called lookups. Go back and here's 10 lookups you didn't do very well enough to complete the task. And then some get a little frustrated, but they realize that this is our opportunity to go back and learn, and then come back and respond to the operations supervisor. So every operator knows from the day they step in their door to a senior level operator what they have to do to accomplish each step. It's all spelled out. It's provided to them in their training binder, and they know that there's no shortcuts. There isn't any way to get around what has to be done. It's a mandatory training program. Then, like I said, we also upgraded the standard operating procedures. We took a standard format, a template, as you all have seen, and started. I tasked all my senior operators to look it over and to update it, and then present it to the operations supervisor. He reviews it, and then he passes them on to me, and I do a final review. And so after I sign them off, they become a standard document in our binder. Also, it can be changed. It's a living document. We can change it whenever it's necessary. Okay, the obstacles to the OIT program. I'm talking about the volunteer program. Remember the old adage, what if we train them and they leave? And of course, the following sentence is, well, what if we don't train them and they stay? And I have had to answer that question more than once for my staff. I don't want to donate or dedicate hours of training to this intern or this ROP because they're not going to stay here. And my response is, you don't know that. You don't know that they may be your next operator, next hired operator. And then I say, and you don't know who's going to be your boss, so you better be nice to them. So with that, I'm pretty much a hands-on manager, as you could tell. I explain to them that you have to remember that however you were trained in the past is not the way you want to train your operators. You want to train your the next generation coming up to take your job. It's just basically, it's good common sense. You don't want to be holding their hand for the rest of your life. You have to understand it. The better you train them, the more I'm going to feel, better I'm going to feel, and the more comfortable you're going to feel as an operator, turning over the reins to them. So it does require time to train them. Yes, it does. It also it does slow down production. Sure, sometimes you have 2 or 3 student interns, RP